How will we stay safe? How will we stay resilient? How will we stay Jewish? All these questions were raised for me throughout the year 5777. I'm not sure when it was these concerns struck me. Was it when Israel was being devastated by arsonists in November? Or was it when our local JCC received 4 bomb threats in the span of 6 weeks? I'm not sure. But I did know that I needed answers. And while I don't know when the questions were raised exactly, I do know when I found the answers. I found them during the summer while at Camp Perlman. This summer, I was immersed in one of the most Jewish experiences of my life. I spent 6 weeks in Lake Como, Pennsylvania for BBYO's Perlman Summer Experience. Perlman Summer is 2 back-to-back programs: International Leadership Training Conference, which is specifically leadership-focused, and International Kala, which is focused on Jewish identity and spirituality. During these 6 weeks, I was immersed in experiences unlike any I've ever heard of. Few get the privilege to hear from a wide spectrum of professionals representing different Jewish denominations. Few get the chance to spend days with Palestinian, Christian, and Muslims that are my age. Few get to make meaningful friendships from all over the United States and Canada, but even fewer also get to make friends from Argentina, Slovakia, England, Germany, Bulgaria, the Ukraine, Macedonia, and even more. Few get to do all of this in one summer. And even fewer get to find themselves in some of the answers that they sought. I was very fortunate to be among the few. At this camp, we'd be challenged to make our own stances on our leadership style, our Jewish and world views, and every opinion under the sun. It wasn't just once a week, it was every day. I realized that we were being challenged to make our own views, but we were also being captivated and being active in our actions and in our words. Our Judaism was flourishing because we were being engaged. That's when I cracked the code. This code to how to solve the problems on combating these issues that are threats and rising in our world. It's one simple answer. Stay engaged with everything that you're a part of. Your community, your Judaism, and your education. I have a theory that all this anti-Semitic mayhem has risen in recent years because we've let ourselves become complacent. My Jewish friends have referred to themselves as half-Jews, as if it's our background and not our faith. When asked if we are Jewish, a common response may have been, "Oh, I'm not that Jewish," as if we're recovering from a cold. It seems that we're starting to be ashamed of our Judaism in casual social settings. Now, from the standpoint of Judaism, we have to reflect on ourselves. It's difficult to say, but we're not as engaged as we like to think we are. According to a study focused on Reform synagogues reported by the Jewish Telegraphic Agency, within 18 months after bar and bat mitzvah, 50% of those teenagers stopped participating in educational programs, while by the end of high school, only 15 to 20% of teens are still involved. It sounds crazy to hear, but doesn't it happen here at Congregation Shalom? Where do all the kids in Sunday school from 6th grade go the next year? They just kind of vanish, it seems like. Post-bar and bat mitzvah, the classes shrink dramatically year after year. But it's not on the kids. It's not on the parents. It truly is no one's fault. Yes, parents make the decision to not make Sunday school mandatory. But that's because how we look at our Judaism. This isn't just a social aspect. This is a spiritual and cultural commitment. Our Judaism is a responsibility that entails engagement beyond the bar and bat mitzvahs and beyond the high holiday services. One last root cause is education. The less we engage with our community in Judaism, the less inclined we are to learn. If not just as a Jew, but as a human being, you want to be a warrior against the face of hatred and bigotry, then you need to learn so you have the weapons to combat these very real threats. White supremacy and racism is ignorance that is taught with only one lesson, which is they are less than us because they are not like us. If we educate ourselves and educate our neighbors through love, compassion, and service, then we can break down the walls that they intend to build. If history has taught me anything, it is that we, the Jewish people, are the most resilient people on earth, but we must not take our resiliency for granted. We are in an unprecedented golden age. There are 6 million Jews currently living in the United States, and just look at our cultural success. We've come a long way from the destruction of the holy temples, from every exodus, and from the ashes of the Shoah. As hard as it was for us to get here, it is as easy for us to lose our spot. I did not want to tell you what my take is on the utopian Jew. I wanted to offer solutions to issues that would be hypocritical for us to ignore. As Rabbi Abraham Heschel once said, "Few are guilty, but all are responsible." We must stay engaged. Every one of us. I ask of myself. I ask of my heart and home congregation, Shalom, and the Jewish people. Let the Jews of 5,778 be the Jews who stayed engaged with their community because they understood how important it is to both represent themselves and assist their neighbors in need. Let the Jews of 5,778 be the Jews who stayed engaged with their Judaism because they learned from the Shoah that the Mesorot, the traditions, would only live from generation to generation, or else they would be lost for all of time, and then the Nazis would win. Let the Jews of 5,778 be the Jews who engage with their education because they understood the value of high levels of intellect for their very small global population. Let the Jews of 5,778 be the ones who became more engaged than the Jews of 5,777 and years past. Shana Tova, and may you all be inscribed in the book of life. Thank you.
So I think that you can see from Liam and from Mara that our future and our present is passionate and is insightful and it is wise. Now as we start to think about our past, as we start to remember to use core, we can take comfort in looking at the bright future.